What's so special at WagerTalk that only happens twice per year? It's the WagerTalk $199 30-day all-access special. Why is this $199 special even bigger? This $199 special starts Sunday, August 15th throughout Monday, September 13th. But by signing up now, you'll receive every play through Sunday, August 15th as a free bonus. Does this $199 package include football? Yes, of course it does. As with every all-access package, you receive every play that your favorite capper releases. That includes the NFL preseason, college football through week 2, NFL week 1, MLB action, plus any CFL, KBO, soccer, UFC, or golf that your favorite handicapper releases. Every play, every sport, all for 30 days and all for just $199. If you have never tried a 30-day all-access package at under $7 per day, including football, what are you waiting for?
Teddy covers. Welcome everybody to WagerTalk Today, August 19th. It's Thursday. I'm Lawrence Presman. He's Teddy covers. And Teddy, we got a great show lined up today. We're going to start the show off with Japanese baseball picks. Then we're going to move to ping pong. There's a massive ping pong tournament over in Japan, Teddy. You follow the sport, right?
So they don't know
Lawrence,
you're joking.
Everyone's going to leave right now. Stop joking. It's just the beginning of the show. Dave Cokin up at the top. We're going to talk Ravens, Panthers, and a couple of college football games. South Florida, NC State, Penn State, Wisconsin. And, well, Adam Trigger attempted to make his debut on Tuesday from Yankee Stadium. Didn't go well. Wi-Fi connection issues, so he's back. We're going to look at the Vikings, Colts, Ole Miss, and a baseball game, Phillies and the Diamondbacks. Your big game breakdown, my presidential address. But before we get into any of that, my friend, what did you learn last night?
Well, let's talk about it because we talk a lot about riding streaks across sports. And there's two times in particular in two sports that I really like and look to ride streaks betting against bad teams. There's the NBA, January, February, March, especially after the All-Star break, but a good 3-month span in the NBA. You know, when you're about 30 games in, you're about 70 games in. You can consistently bet against the bad teams. MLB, similar time frame. I'd say it's about 3 months, June, July, and most of August. You can do nothing but fade the bottom feeders. And in theory, make money. Right now, let's see. You have the Marlins in free fall. Well, they're not playing the Cubs. You have the Orioles in free fall. We have the Pirates in free fall. We have the Rangers having a rough time. Now, note that when a free fall team finally wins a game, they're live to win another one. Just ask anyone who faded the Cubs yesterday. And free fall teams eventually can and do turn it around. Look at the Twins. They're cashing dog tickets for the last few weeks. It's always a case-by-case basis. But these dead teams, it doesn't last forever. Once the call-ups come in September, dead teams find life. But we got a couple more weeks, Prez, that we can still bet against some of these bottom feeders in MLB with relative impunity. Clients and I have been able to take advantage of that a little bit this week. What about yourself? What did you learn last night?
Well, before I get into what I learned, I just want to give you a shout out, Teddy, because a couple of weeks ago, you were on the world's greatest daily sports betting show, WagerTalk Today. And you pointed out that the Twins were going to be a bet on team moving forward. Not bet on necessarily, but there was going to be a lot of value. You talked about some quotes coming out of the dressing room. You talked about the feeling that the team has. And, well, you just pointed out that they're winning. And also Washington, a great example of a team that lost a whole ton of games in a row, won one and won the next. What did I learn, bro? Miami Heat -4.5 against the Pelicans. Milwaukee Bucks -9 against the Golden State Warriors. Which game are you going to watch Christmas Day? Oh, my God, Teddy, the lines in the NBA are already out. Like, I need a longer break. Get me a longer break. What's going on here, man?
So we always see the NFL week 1 lines come out very early. and that gives all summer for people, NBA, NFL fans, to bet the week one numbers. We're seeing that for the NBA. The NBA has become a year-round league. The NBA headlines have been headlines even in August, where you have baseball pennant races and you have football training camps. NBA free agency's made a lot of noise. And the books are continuing to promote NBA. Number one, they do fairly well with it. And number two, anything they can get to bring in action where they get to hold the money for months on end in a 11 to 10 proposition is something they're looking to do. So the fact that we've got NBA lines to talk about in August, it's an evolving marketplace, and it's a fun thing to note, Prez, although realistically, I'm not betting this stuff yet. Are you?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you, Teddy. I mean, realistically, who is betting this stuff? I mean, how many people are racing to get down on the Bucks -9 versus the Warriors? By the way, I like the Warriors in that game. How many people are betting this stuff in August? Like, legit, how many bets? How many bets do you think? You think they're going to get 5 bets in the month of August? 10, 20?
Oh, yeah.
How many bets?
Sure. In terms of the number of bets, I couldn't tell you. In terms of the amount wagered, they'll get some. They'll get enough to have it up on the board.
The amount wagered, I would assume, would be higher than the volume of bets, only because my guess is that the smart, wise, the monsters are trying to take advantage of line value so early. I don't see a recreational bettor betting NBA now for $25. So, yeah, but it is interesting, and I'm curious. It's worth asking Art next Wednesday how much action they actually take. Go ahead, bro.
But the point is that it's an evolving market. We didn't ever see NBA lines until the day before the games for the opening weekend or for Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we're seeing NBA lines months ahead of time. So that's a change in the marketplace. It's a marketplace that's evolving in front of us. So it's worth noting, even if it's not likely to take a whole bunch of action from many of our viewers in the the coming weeks. Prez. And again, like I said, I'm not betting it yet, but it's good to know.
Yeah. Teddy, I won my baseball play last night. I had the Braves -1.5. How did you do?
I had the Braves first 5. I didn't have to sweat that 9th inning like you did. I was terrified of Atlanta's bullpen last night. I was, and they kept on building lead. I'm like, I could have had full game without a sweat. And then, of course, in the 9th inning, the Marlins come back.
You want to hear something crazy? I'm racing to the score. I don't know it was 11-3 last time I looked. Oh my God. What happened? What happened?
They scored 6 in the 9th. I wanted the Braves bullpen out of the equation. Yeah. You would have been sweating. You would have been pulling your hair out. Good thing you turned it.
Oh my God. 11-9. Wow.
I know.
Okay. Let's bring Dave Cokin in. Dave, Teddy, man, I'm just going to read this verbatim. Dave Cokin joining us at WagerTalk.com, exclusive to WagerTalk.com, one of the coup de grace of the last little while in this industry. Up 162% return on investment in the year 2021. Up 46% in baseball. Number 1 college football handicapper all time here. Dave, man, next time you come on the show, I need last year we did a blowout college football package special on WagerTalk Today. Where's my promo for today? I want to push you, Dave.
Well, have Johnny come up with something, because I don't know what to do on those. I'm happy just handicapping the games. I'll leave the marketing to the experts at WagerTalk. That's why I signed the exclusive with you guys. You take care of that. I'm not. There's stuff I'm good at. There's stuff I'm not good at, and marketing is one of the things I'm not good at.
And there's really something to be said for that, Prez. The concept of, hey, man, let me sit back and pick games, let somebody else market me. I take advantage of that fairly well at WagerTalk, and it helps clears your mind. You don't have to think about the other side of it. We've got guys on the other side of it that are thinking about it, and we get to focus on handicapping, which is what we're supposed to be good at.
Yeah, and shout out to Missy, Melissa, Chris, James, the whole team out in Detroit. I think we got the best operations and customer service team on the planet by far.
No question. No question. I will say that I did post my first college football play for the new season this morning.
Nice.
I think I've got some value on this game, and it's available now. So if you want to get a package, you can do that. If you just want the one game, you can do that. And if you want to wait and see if I give it out for nothing by accident, you can do that. But I don't think I will.
Teddy, one of our listeners, and I got to say this, I got it really quick, Dave. WT's like, Prez, you called the Blue Jays -1.5. Yeah, I gave out the Blue Jays -1.5 in the presidential address. My clients received Atlanta, the best play. The play that I make my biggest bet on, I release to my clients. I don't give out free on the presidential address. With that said, I try to win those, and I've done very well over the last little while. Guys,
something I need to mention, by the way.
Oh, dude. Honored to have you.
We often get asked, what's the worst beat we've ever taken? And I now have a new all-timer. I gave out 4 outrights. I gave out 4 outrights at the golf tournament last week.
Oh, yeah.
Two of them made the playoffs, including Roger Sloan at 150-1. He made the playoffs. Just missed a putt in the first playoff hole, which would have won 150-1. And then it ended on the second playoff hole. That's the worst. Not in terms of the toughest beat, but in terms of the amount of money that would have been won, it's a runaway. Nothing's ever come close to that.
Yeah. And some of the guys, Dave, were talking about it in the chat room a couple of days ago, and we're impressed. It was one of those things where it's like sitting on a +150. So close.
No.
Yeah.
That's a great
not
pick.
Plus 150.
Unfortunately,
150-1. There's a big difference between plus 150 and 150-1. Yeah.
Right.
So
I met
plus
that.
Plus
Anyway,
150. That wouldn't be no big deal. 150-1. It's like I didn't even want to think about how much that was going to put in my pocket, but oh well.
Dave, let's get into it, man. Ravens -3 versus the Panthers. Total of 35. Preseason football. How you handicapping this game?
Well, we'll take a look at the backups for the two teams, and we saw, I think, 2 different versions of backups last week. The Ravens backups did well, came back and won the game. The Panthers backups did not do well, and I think that plays in here. The other thing is, this is the most useless preseason I've ever seen. Nobody's game planning. There's usually a few teams that will game plan. There is no game planning taking place. If you think it was bad last week, wait until next week. There might be a little this week, but not much. So go to the tendencies. John Harbaugh likes to win games. He doesn't care whether they count or not, apparently, because there's nobody better in the preseason than John Harbaugh. And even last week, looks like, the Ravens are going to lose the game. They came back and won. I would expect that to be the case here. Ravens are small favorites on the road, but we at least know one thing about Harbaugh. He tries to win everything. And if you can get that edge in the preseason, you may as well go with it. I mean, his record in preseason is absurd. I don't have it in front of me, but it's incredible. So I'll take the Ravens -3. Not a lot of analysis. Sorry, I can't give you much there, but at least we know the coaching tendencies, and I'll look for that to continue.
Yeah, the Ravens' last preseason loss came in 2015. They're 18-0 straight up the last 18. That said, this year, all right, the QB rotation is McSorley and Huntley. All right, Huntley was the leading rusher last week. They were +4 in turnovers and were life and death to win the game. Meanwhile, Carolina blew the lead, and Matt Rule was not amused. The quotes, "We don't care if it's a preseason game. We don't care if it's a scrimmage. We want to win in everything we do. Does that concern you for this week, with Baltimore needing every break they could get to escape with the win last week, and Carolina not happy with how that second half looked? Or is it just you ride this streak until it dies, and if you cashed a whole bunch of tickets backing Jim Harbaugh, you're probably not betting against him here?
More the latter, and I would say Harbaugh probably not real thrilled with the way his team played last week. So I've seen him get upset in preseason games. So this might actually be one of the better games of the weekend. If there's such a thing as a good preseason game, it's got a chance to be this one. I don't know that I'll play it. I might not play much of anything in exhibition football this weekend. But for now, I'll look for the Ravens.
Dave Cokin joining us, everybody. Dave, let's talk college football. South Florida minus 17.5 versus NC State, a total of
no, you got
60.
it backwards.
No.
Oh, my God. Plus 17.5. Yeah. Sorry, guys. 60.5 is the total. How we betting this game?
I wish it was South Florida minus 17.5. That would be one of the larger bets of all time on NC State. Now, I like this NC State team quite a bit. I might be higher on them than just about anybody. I think, Clemson's still the team to beat in the ACC by a pretty good margin. But among all the rest, I think you can make a case NC State, they could sneak in as the second best team in the conference. Love the defense. Doring's got himself a really good defensive unit this year, and there's enough on the offensive side. I'm not sure about the receiving corps. It's not great, but I like the offensive line. I think the skill positions, for the most part, are strong. And I think NC State's a little under the radar, or at least under most people's radar to start the season. So a little value on them until people catch up with how good they might be. The flip side is South Florida, and they're almost starting from scratch. They're going to have to recruit a whole bunch of new talent. It's not there right now. They're not average at anything, and they're way below average in some things. Now, it's a big number, but I think it's justified. NC State, I think, is a team that could come out of the gate roaring and looking to make some early season statements and create some attention for themselves. So this game shapes up to me as one that has blowout written all over it. I would not be surprised here if you're looking at a 30-point win for North Carolina State. There's a good chance I'll end up with a play on this card. I haven't bet the game yet, but it's definitely a contender.
So you and I have the exact same thought process on this game and on this NC State team. Dave and I haven't bet it yet, and I haven't released it yet because the line's been coming down. And we're seeing 17s on the board today. This was 18.5, 18. Now it's 17.5 with 17s and some leading indicator books. Do you think this is pro-USF money? Is this anti-NC State money? What are we seeing? We have no idea, and let's not even worry about it. I
couldn't care less who's on it. You can tell me the sharpest guys on the planet are on it. I don't care. I bet my own stuff. And I really like NC State this year, and I don't like South Florida. I mean, they can play a little defense, but I don't know where their points are going to come from. And again, I really like the NC State defense. So, you're looking at a game here where I think it's a good chance South Florida maybe gets 10 in this game. Is NC State's offense good enough to put up 30? I think it is. So NC State, again, good chance it's going to be on my ticket.
Yeah, 30-10 is 40, and the total is 60.5. So read between the lines.
I'm not using that. That's
I know, Dave, but it's still interesting information that can be factored into other people's thought processes.
Well, I'll say this:
the
total being that high indicates to me that the NC State defense isn't getting the respect it probably deserves. This is a very good defensive unit. It's the best defense. It's the best defense Doran's had since he took over that program.
Yeah. Dave, Penn State, Wisconsin minus 4.5, 52 on tap. How do you suggest we tackle this game?
This is a game I probably won't bet, but it's one of the most interesting games of the first week, so I wanted to talk about it. First off, I think the teams are about even. I actually have Penn State rated a little higher than Wisconsin, but I also have Wisconsin. Home field advantage is an interesting thing. A lot of people, I don't know why, this became a myth that became fact years ago was that, well, you give each home team 3 points or whatever. And it's like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
You think all home field advantage is the same? Are you going to tell me that UNLV's home field advantage is 3 points and Wisconsin's home field advantage is 3 points? I don't think so. Wisconsin's home field advantage is more like a touchdown. Call it 6. And that's what's going to keep me off the game in all likelihood, because I think Penn State's maybe a little better team. The problem for Penn State is they have to overcome what took place last season. And, that can affect them mentally going into this season. They were awful in close games last year. And that look at the start they got off to. It was absolutely horrendous. They played themselves out of the mix for everything in those first 4 weeks. Losing games they could have won. I mean, they could have been off to a good start and had some high hopes, and instead they blew all those games. So I think Penn State is going to approach this as a must-win week 1 game. And maybe that's the thing that gets them over the top. I don't think I'll play it because that home field advantage for Wisconsin is so strong, and Penn State's going to have to convince me that they're as good mentally as they are physically. On paper, they're a really good football team, probably borderline top 10. From the neck up, I'm not so sure. And Franklin's just going to have to do a better job coaching in the fourth quarter than he did last year. I lean to Penn State in the game at more than a field goal, but I'm hesitant to play it, and I probably won't. But it's a great first week game, one I definitely want to watch.
Yeah.
So, Dave, when we look at the Badgers and their actual point spread results, I'm seeing 5-11 against the spread as home favorites over the last 3 years. So, from a home field perspective, that home field's been an overvalued commodity, not an undervalued commodity. When you're talking about how much your home fields are worth, are you looking at the results of the games, ATS, or are you looking at crowd size, long-term performance, et cetera, et cetera? Because in recent years, the Badgers have not been good in this role, not good at all.
No, and I think that part of that can be explained by the fact that the odds makers don't give them 3 points for home field. The odds makers also use the same sliding scale that I use and most good college football analysts use, which is to weigh what you think is the proper home field advantage based on crowd size, tradition, etc. That stadium is in particular one of the noisiest in college football, and I've never been there, but from what I'm told, it literally shakes. I mean, the stadium
jump around,
shakes.
yeah. Oh, yeah. When they're doing jump around, the stadium.
Yeah. So, when I say that Wisconsin, I give Wisconsin 6 for
I'm
home
not
field.
going to tell you what came to mind there. Oh, my God.
When I say that Wisconsin
there,
gets 6 for home field and UNLV doesn't, UNLV gets 0, basically. That's stuff you factor into your power rating matchup each week. You do your power ratings for the two teams, and then you add in the home field advantage that you think is right. And all I'm saying is, for those who just say, let's go 3 points, same thing for college basketball, by the way. It's not as dramatic, but home court advantages are not the same in college basketball. They vary from one program to the next, and I think that's something people have to factor in when they're making their numbers on games.
Dave Cokin. Dave, what do you got to promote?
The college football play that I posted this morning, I think it's a strong play. It's the best bet. So go get it. Get the college football package. I mean, the numbers are pretty good. I think we're over 200 units of profit the last 4 years. That's number one at WagerTalk, 59% on 300 and something selections. So it's a legit almost 60%. And looking forward to this season.
Yeah, guys, take what Dave said seriously. I mean, I'll tell you, I don't think I could think of any major sport. So put like what Tokyo Brandon is doing aside for Japanese baseball, or, what Andy Lang does for, NASCAR or whatever.
I don't what I'm doing in golf.
Yeah, or what you're doing in golf. I don't think in any of the major 5, I don't think there is a more important package to purchase than Dave Cokin's college football. I would argue that Dave Cokin's college football is, Teddy's NFL is lights out. Rob Vino's NBA is lights out. There are guys that are incredible in specific sports, but I don't think anybody across the board is more consistently as good as Dave is at college football. So get his package. Dave, thanks so much for joining us.
My NFL is lights out too. You'd rather have the lights out when you look at the results.
Yeah. Bada bing. Get the hell out of here. Teddy's big game breakdown. Adam Trigger. The presidential address. We'll see you in 20 seconds.
How much do you want to pay for the NFL and college football season? You decide how much you want to save. Right now, WagerTalk is offering their lowest price for the 2021 NFL and college football seasons. From now through the start of the regular season, we are offering special early bird pricing, but these prices will increase by $20 per sport and $30 for the college football and NFL combo every week until the season kicks off. Save up to $200 this week by buying your favorite WagerTalk capper for the package. And remember, the longer you wait, the less you save.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I see the Patriots right now about a 1-point favorite on the road. There's a couple of 1.5s out there in Philadelphia tonight. Total 38 and a half, depending on where you're betting it. Before I get into the full analysis of this game, I do want to talk about what's going on right now over at WagerTalk and sportsmemo.com. I just posted a 5% big ticket play for tomorrow night in NFL preseason action. Chiefs and Cardinals. Good info, strong info on that game. Worthy of a big ticket size wager. I got a big ticket wager up for week 1 of the NFL. That line's not going to hold either. And of course, MLB on tap as well. The baseball's been rock solid all summer. But check out all the plays and packages at WagerTalk and or sportsmemo.com today. Now, when we look at New England and Philly, again, the QB rotation is not going to be all that different from what we saw last week. We'll see Cam Newton. We'll see Mac Jones. I expect to see some Brian Hoyer. I don't know how much Hoyer's going to throw the football. He didn't throw it much last week. For Philadelphia, Hurts, Flacco, Mullins, all likely to get PT here. But I got to say this, all right? There's been a fundamental change in preseason football. The joint practices are now more important than the game. There's no film for the other 31 teams from a joint practice. The coaches don't hold anything back. And the coaches are holding a lot back in games. There's a reason that this year's preseason has gone 14-3 to the under so far. I mean, you look at this matchup, again, the Patriots pushed against a closing total in week 1, thanks to a late 91-yard touchdown burst. But not like the offense did a whole lot during that game. Newton and Jones combined 26 pass attempts for, 136 yards. That's not pushing the ball downfield. Philly went 0 of 8 on third downs. They only had 10 first downs for the game. They only had 11 rush attempts and 29 pass attempts, 40 plays. And both these defenses, they will be a good notch or two ahead of the offenses right now. I like the fact that we're seeing vanilla game plans. I expect to see another strong defensive performance for both squads early. And frankly, I don't see points in bunches in this one either. Look for the Eagles and the Patriots to stay under the total. Shop for 38.5. Even 38 is worthy of a wager or this better. There you have it, Prez. Back to you.
Teddy, our first thumbs down came during your segment. I just want to apologize. Don't take it personally, Teddy. It's probably not you. It's probably just coincidence. Guys, hit that thumbs up button for us, please. We had to wake this kid up this morning. Probably out partying all night, being like half our age. Okay, I'm making this all up. Adam Trigger joining us. Did you party hard last night?
Not too bad. I was in bed at a reasonable hour last night. So, it was Wednesday. So, but I got to get it out of my system, though. I have to get out of my system because soon our weekends are going to be very, little going out, at least for me. Not, I generally don't go out too hard on a Friday or a Saturday during the football season. So I got a bunch of friends coming in this weekend. We're all going to Saratoga, going to the track. So this is kind of like my last big weekend of the summer. So looking forward to it.
I got massive connections with excellent horse racing handicappers. I'll give you a half price coupon so you can get some picks over at WagerTalk.com. Guys, Adam Trigger, brand new handicapper at WagerTalk, but not a brand new handicapper. This is a guy that has done he's experienced. He's a veteran. We had him on Sports Memo. He did exceptional, 60% last year in the NFL season, which is awesome stuff. Outstanding. But yeah, you're new on Wager Talk, so welcome aboard, and let's get straight into it. Vikings Colts Saturday preseason game. We were about to talk about it 2 days ago when the Wi-Fi cut out. I look forward to hearing what you have to say now.
Yeah, I think 20,000 people started to steal our bandwidth on Tuesday, and it ruined my connection. But so I'll start by quoting the great Dave Cokin from 10 minutes ago. This is definitely the most useless NFL preseason that I've seen as well, maybe except for last year when we had no NFL preseason. However, I do still think there's some value, and I'm going to kind of play his angle here in a different game. There isn't a ton of game planning going on, but some of these coaches have proven that they want to win in the preseason, and Mike Zimmer is one of those guys. So even with his loss in week 1 last week, he's 20-6 in the preseason, and that's a big enough sample. I don't think you get to 20-6 without wanting to game planning to win these games. Last week, if you saw his press, any of his press conference, his interview at halftime, he was not happy with the Vikings' effort. He also he also didn't play 30 starters last week. And a friend of mine that lives in Minnesota that follows the Vikings beat pretty closely has assured me that the Vikings starters are going to get a lot more time here. After that, it's pretty even. I like to look at quarterbacks in the NFL preseason. I'm not seeing a huge quarterback edge other than the fact that we'll get Cousins for a little bit, but it's going to be 4 younger guys. You got Eason and Ellinger on the Colts side, and it's probably going to be Browning and Kellen Mond for most of the time for the Vikings. So for me here, this is a play on Mike Zimmer. I think he's going to have his team ready to play, especially in the second half when maybe the Colts are not as interested in the game. I don't like to lay points in the preseason, so minus 145 here sounds like the better move. I know you got to lay a little bit of juice, but these games end in a tie, and no one is trying to tie. So that if you get into a scenario where it's go for 2 to potentially win, that'll happen. Vikings minus 145. I think Zimmer has his team ready to play after basically a no-show last week, and the Vikings are going to find a way to win here.
So I want to ask you here, much like you brought up Cokin, I'm going to bring up Cokin. Cokin was talking about Wisconsin's home field edge, and I'm like, Wisconsin hasn't been a money winner in their home field in any recent season, and they've been burning their backers who are backing them as home favorites. Zimmer's got this great track record. All right, from a point spread perspective, you bet Mike Zimmer and the Vikings the last 13 preseason games are 6-7 ATS, 500, below 500 ATS. So, his great stuff was 2015, 2016, bet on all the way. Do you worry that the influence of those numbers are why we're seeing Minnesota favored here in a game where it's going to be Jake Browning and Kellen Mond behind center, neither of whom I'm real comfortable putting my money on in August?
Well, Teddy, that's a really good point. I actually was on the Broncos in week 1, and I kind of sort of was okay with going against the Zimmer numbers because I had a feeling I was going to get a much stronger product on the field from the Broncos, which proved to be true. Here, I guess I'll say this. The reason that it's not up as like a 4% or 3%, 4% or 5% play for me is because of Mond and Browning. I know we're going to have them in the second half. With that being said, I'm willing to put my faith in Zimmer and his game planning. I do think the Vikings are going to want to play better than they did last week. I think there will be some incentive to do that because they got steamrolled by Denver last week. So, it's more of a lean for me at this point, but the only way I could go in this game is the Vikings. And who knows? I might actually get there with it. I think minus 145 for them to win is not horrible in this game. So right now it's a lean for me. I may add it, but Vikings is the only way I could go here.
Adam Trigger joining us, everyone. WagerTalk.com. Guys, 232 of you watching live, only 59 likes. Please, please, please hit that like button. Maurice Campbell, one of our listeners, he writes, how do you feel about a 4-team parlay? I don't know who you asked that question to, but the thing that came to mind when I read it was the same way I feel about Betty White getting into my bed. Hell no! Adam Trigger, Ole Miss, win-loss, record 7.5, over or under?
Yeah, so this is something I did bet. I will eventually upload this as probably a 4%. So this is something I have bet already. I love this one. So if you can get this, I would shop it around. There's over 7.5. There's minus 135s and minus 140s, but I've also seen this still up until like a day ago at minus 120 some places. I'm going over the season win total for Ole Miss here for a couple of reasons. First, I think they're going to improve on last year. They have about 75% of their starters back on both sides of the ball. And I like targeting teams that finish the year strong. They had a really nice win in the Outback Bowl over Indiana. And they bring one of the guys coming back is their quarterback, Matt Corral, who is already basically the consensus sort of top quarterback in the SEC. And that's going to be in a Lane Kiffin offense that should be firing on all cylinders because, again, they have quite a few guys back. The second reason I really like this is their schedule is extremely favorable this year. For an SEC West team, they only have 3 top 25 teams on their schedule entering the season, and they only play 4 true road games, with all 4 non-conference games coming either at home or on a neutral field. They open the season with Louisville. It's in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, and they've already moved from 7.5 to a 9-point favorite in that game. If they can get through that game, which I think they will, you're looking at Tulane, Liberty, and then FCS, Austin Peay, all in Oxford as the other 3 non-conference games. So I have that 4-0 for Ole Miss right there. And then the only game I'm going to give them a loss in is at Alabama. But I'm kind of happy that game comes on the road because I feel like they're going to lose that anyway. That's I'm just going to call the Alabama game a loss anyway. So that leaves only 3 other road games. And those 3 road games are Tennessee, Auburn, and Mississippi State, which are all should be winnable games. I'm not saying they're going to win each of those games, but they'll definitely be winnable games. Then you look at the other 2 ranked teams they play in addition to Alabama are both in Oxford, and it's LSU and Texas A&M. They very well could be favored in the LSU game. And I don't know that I buy Texas A&M being a top 10 team yet. That game's also not till November. So a lot can happen from that, from the beginning of the season until then. And then to round out their schedule, you have Arkansas and Vanderbilt, and there's a very good possibility that they're double-digit favorites in both of those games, or at least favored by a touchdown. So when I add up the whole schedule, to only have to get to 8 wins here, when I'm pretty certain that you're going to get 4 out of the non-conference, basically, I only need them to go 4-4 in SEC play. With 75% of their team back from a team last year that got better as the season went on, won their bowl game, and they've got, their quarterback coming back. He's probably the most talented quarterback in the SEC in that offense with Lane Kiffin. To me, I think Ole Miss could very well win 9 or 10. The ceiling for them, they could win 10 games. I mean, I would not be surprised if this team ends up 9-3 or 10-2. I think at worst, I'm going 8-4 here. And so over 7.5, even if you have to take it a little juiced up at minus 135, I think that's a bet that I'm willing to tie my money up with for a few months because I don't see it losing.
So I want to ask you this, because certainly on paper, the Rebels do look pretty good. However, the last time they haven't even won 7 games. The last time they won more than 6 games in any season was 2015. They're on their 4th different regime since that time. So there's been a lot of guys coming in. It's not a stable program. There's been depth issues. There's been guys transferring in and out for years. And you're saying that this year's team is 2 wins better or more than any team in the last 6 years for Ole Miss, based on schedule or based on talent?
I would say more so the schedule. However, I'm a believer in Lane Kiffin. I know there's a lot of people that aren't. I actually think he can take a step forward with this program, and I think it's going to be this season. And I'll say this, Teddy, I think it's also has something to do with maybe a little bit of a lack of talent in the SEC West than we're used to seeing. I think normally, if I saw this schedule and I thought, okay, they're going to be playing probably 5 or 6 ranked teams. If they've got like a tough, if they had a tough non-conference game somewhere in there, maybe on the road, I'd be a little bit less likely to play over 7.5. But when I kind of comb through this game by game, I've got 6 wins that I'll be really surprised if they don't happen. The 4 non-conference games, and then Arkansas at home and Vanderbilt at home. So if I can get the 6 right there, and I've got essentially, 6 chances to get 2 more, and 3 of those games are at home, like I think I'm going to get to 8. It may very well come down to that Mississippi State game on the final day of the season, but I think I'm going to get to 8 with this team.
Adam, honestly, I thought you handicapped that whole segment brilliantly. You laid out game by game. I'm with you. To hell with the old decrepit man in the middle with his Munchausen look of unhappiness. Anyway, Mike Pellegrino writes, and this is very important. This is an important message to all people who bet futures. Mike Pellegrino writes, I bet the Dolphins 33-1 to win the Super Bowl, $20 to make 330. Sounds so sexy, right, Mike? $20 to make 330? No. You just bet the Dolphins 33-1. Let me explain that math to you. That's $20 to win 0. That's what that is. So don't get all excited about these future Miami Dolphins. Go bet the Buffalo Sabres to win the Stanley Cup. That'll be plus 160 or something. Anyway, just wanted to point that out. But Mike, we do love you, man. You're here every day. And I won't be cheering for that bet, but I'll be cheering for you. Adam, real quick, we got to race through this. Phillies Diamondbacks. The game is an afternoon game. 3:40 Eastern time, minus 188. 8 is the total. You got less than a minute. Go.
All right, real quick. I like Arizona plus 1.5 here. This is a lean. It's not something I'm going to release, but if you had to play this game, I would take the plus 1.5. Arizona has been significantly better since the All-Star break. Their bullpen numbers have been much better since the All-Star break, which was arguably their worst sort of part of their team. Madison Bumgarner, since the break, has made 6 starts. He's gone 6 or more innings in 5 of them, and he's given up 2 runs or less in each. Zach Wheeler, after a Cy Young type start, is starting to trend down. Arizona's won 5 of 6. I think if you're getting the run head start here with a team that plays far better at home, 26-36 at home, Phillies 25-34 on the road. They're in a little bit of a free fall mode. I know everyone thinks, okay, the Phillies have to win today, so they're going to win. I don't know that that's the case. I really like how Arizona's played the past week, and I think if you're going to give me a run and a half head start at minus 105, that's the way to look in Diamondbacks Phillies this afternoon.
Oh, Teddy, you're always starting with it. Never ends, Teddy, with you. People don't know what I'm talking about.
When you say the Sabres at plus 160, dude, the Sabres are not plus 160 to win the Cup. They might be
they're probably
160 to 1 and plus 16,000. But when you made the same mistake twice on the show, it's not plus is not the pay.
The best part.
Can we bet the no there? Right.
Yeah, Teddy. The best part is that you lean forward when yelling at the Prez. How's your boy Teddy? Is he still? Are you guys still out there busking on Fremont Street?
Oh, not in the summer. No, that's only in the spring we do that. And then in the summer it's too hot, and in the fall, Daddy's got football, and in the winter it's too cold. So we do it in the spring.
Excellent stuff. Man, really great work, dude. Welcome to Wager Talk today. Welcome to Wager Talk, the family. We're thrilled to have you. I wish you nothing but the best this football season. Do you have anything up to promote?
Well, guys, no, thanks so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. I've been a big fan of pretty much everyone on the site for years. So it's really been a goal of mine, and I'm really happy to be part of the Wager Talk family. They left my $2 play from Tuesday up, so that's in an NFL preseason game this weekend. You can get that now. Check back. I probably will play the game tonight. So look for that. I'll have that up. If I'm going to do it, I'll have it up within an hour or so. And then, all weekend I've sort of taken my foot off the gas a little bit in baseball. I've tried to pick my spots, but I've played 2 games in the last week. They've both won. So I'll be finishing out the MLB season. I'm still probably one of the only people out there playing KBO, and 20-14 in the KBO this year. So,
nice.
I'll have stuff up every day, just trying to cash tickets and stay in the green. And look forward to speaking to you guys again soon.
Awesome stuff. Adam Trigger, everyone. Teddy, Chris L writes, I can never tell if Teddy and Prez hate each other. I'm just going to leave it at that. Daily presidential address. Let's go. You think it's We Will Rock You, but it isn't. But it's close. Is it a plane? Anyway, Teddy's already starting with me in Slack. Guys, I am a perfect 3-0 in the Canadian Football League. I got Canadian Football League play up tonight, Thursday night. Head over to Wager Talk and make sure to bet that play. I'm perfect 3-0 to start the season. We won our baseball play last night. Absolutely rolling. The last 3 weeks have been outstanding for me and my clients. I am passing in baseball, but I do have 3 free bets for you guys that I am making tonight. And the first one is the New England Patriots. I like them on the money line tonight against Philadelphia. It's a free pickup at wagertalk.com, so you guys can go and read it if you like. But I am betting a very small amount of money on the New England Patriots. I'm also on the Brewers under the total and the Reds -1.5. That's it for me, man. Presidential address over. Teddy, I literally have a shawarma to eat. No kidding around. Take us home.
Sure, because that's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk Today. To find out if Prez and I genuinely hate each other or we're just friends who like to flick each other in the ear, you better come back tomorrow. We'll do it again. Same time, same channel right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon for you on the East Coast. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck.
What's so special at Wager Talk that only happens twice per year? It's the Wager Talk $1.99 30-day all-access special. Why is this $1.99 special even bigger? This $1.99 special starts Sunday, August 15th throughout Monday, September 13th. But by signing up now, you'll receive every play through Sunday, August 15th as a free bonus. Does this $1.99 package include football? Yes, of course it does. As with every all-access package, you receive every play that your favorite capper releases. That includes NFL preseason, college football through week 2, NFL week 1, MLB action, plus any CFL, KBO, soccer, UFC, or golf that your favorite handicapper releases. Every play, every sport, all for 30 days and all for just $1.99. If you have never tried a 30-day all-access package at under $7 per day, including football, what are you waiting for?